tried to get out, and the time was now.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another exciting episode of Sitting Down with Stand-Ups. I am your co-host, Justin Sakarica. Over to my left, we have the very lovely Elena Gonzalez.
I'm impressed at your hand.
Yes, I can.
Have you been practicing?
All summer. I've been going outside for 20 minutes a day just doing this.
Sitting down and stand up.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
My neighbors won't talk to me anymore.
Understandable.
I've had the cops calling me twice. They're talking about putting me into the group home down the street. So I've only got a few more chances right now. I'm on very thin ice.
Be sure to let them know that you accept banana deliveries.
I do
at the
accept.
group home.
Yes, free potassium.
Yes.
all around here. Yes. And as always, we have the Bean behind the scene, Daryl Bean, working the cameras back then. I don't know why bananas are a seed, right? They're not a bean. They're like a fruit seed thing. Is that how they're categorized?
Is that real?
I think aren't bananas a seed technically, or
What?
Look it up.
okay, yeah. This is why you would think somebody who is so involved in free bananas would actually have a.
How have I never heard
I
this?
want to say they're a seed.
No, they were classified as a berry.
I'm even more shocked.
You know what?
A
You
berry?
saying that, I have heard that.
Yep.
Yeah, because
Wow.
of their seeds, right?
Okay, because bananas are classified as a berry and reproduce asexually. So
Okay.
there you go.
Okay, well, I didn't know that a banana was a berry.
There we go.
You learn something new every day.
They do not require fertilization to produce fruit.
And so that's what makes it a berry. That's interesting. So then apples and such are getting cross-pollinated?
Yeah.
So bananas are
Okay.
the Virgin Mary, basically, is what it is.
Basically, yep.
Yeah. Wow.
Interesting that it looks like a dildo.
Yeah.
That's-
The holy fruit. Yes. Wow. Interesting.
They just want you to have what they can't have. That's all.
That's are cucumbers also?
Yeah.
They have seeds, but they're just generous.
Yes.
There,
I've seen some big cucumbers before. Yes.
yeah, I think my Instacart driver's hitting on me whenever depending on the size of the cucucber.
Just good for.
I got you.
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
You're gonna love this, okay? Because I could never imagine getting nailed by a cucumber.
How?
What?
She got it.
Yes, Justin, I'm doing shows at the Nail.
There you go. That's the magic right there. That's the magic. Yeah, so you are...
That's going to be our new marketing slogan.
Yes.
Yeah. Come get nailed on every Friday night.
That's actually not a bad...
It's not bad.
That's not bad at all, yeah.
Pretty good.
I'm gonna kind of market test it here. I've dipped my toe back into the world of production. Apparently, I decided that I didn't have enough on my plate, and I wanted to get back into the mix. So the Nail, for those who aren't aware, is a really great room on the east side. So it is roughly 15 and a half and Grossbeck. It's been a comedy room for the last couple years. Previously, great shows done by Knuckleheads. It then went into Charles Hill was the showrunner there. He ran some great shows, and he just got to a point where he's doing a lot, and it's a lot to book a show.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, a lot of.
And he was doing it every week. You know, it's an every Friday show, and he's got kids, and he's trying to work on his own career, and he runs an open mic too. So he reached a limit, and it so happened that I was in a conversation with him, as well as hilarious comedian Reed Ledbetter, who I know you know, and Charles was letting us know that, you know, he was done and he was taking off, and I was like, I don't want this room to die.
Yeah.
Though it's a really good place. Paul Peptone and I were talking about it's it's more than an open mic, but it's not a full theater.
Yeah.
So it's a great space to get that experience for the first time. It's got a real stage, a real spotlight, you know, a mic and a stand. People that do come for the show are actually paying attention to you. At the end of the day, it's still a bar show, but it gives you that experience in doing it. And when I was kind of hemming and hawing because I wasn't sure if I could commit to every Friday, that's when Ree was like, well, I'll split some of it with you. So we decided to join forces, and Funny Fridays at the Nail was born. We'll be out there every Friday. Once a month we have an all-female show, and we are, for those who know me, know that I can't keep it simple. So in the fall, we are also going to be mixing it up every month with more of a variety show.
Okay.
So I might, wink wink, have some more retro game nights. We may have some stand prov. We may have some different themes still for comedians to partake in. But yeah, it's a free show every week. The comedians work on tips, and check it out. Funny Fridays at the Nail.
Yeah, you know what? I think I will check that out. I was gonna go to Canton Brew Works this coming Friday, but
No.
you know, I don't know about that place, man. I don't know about Canton Brew Works.
I mean, the venue itself is great.
Oh yeah, but the host,
Like
what a fucking turd that guy is, man. Jesus Christ.
It's a rough.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I went there one time.
Like when I was starting, this would have been, like 7 years ago now. There were some guys that ran a show at Canton Brew Works.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, it was
Those
great,
guys, they were so personable. Were they terrible name, but
Moist, definitely.
Moist, definitely. Yeah. But I mean, so personal and so welcoming. Now the guy that runs it, ooh.
I know. It just, you know, I would love to tell him to his face about how terrible he does of a job hosting there. If only the very funny and talented Ned Rice was in house today to defend himself. Obviously, we are joking. Ned does a fantastic job. Get out of here, Ned.
I oughta. Actually, I have an exciting announcement.
Oh.
This just happened.
You're running for office?
I've given this a lot of thought, and in light of a great deal of speculation about my cognitive abilities and my loss of memory and so on, I've decided to step down from hosting Canton Brew Works. And because I've been advised I can't win in November, so in my place will be my vice president Floyd Jones. He's taking what?
Oh, well, I missed, you know.
Listen, Jason, you butt out, Linda. I'm stepping down for the good of my country, and of course for the city of Canton. That's what counts. That's what matters.
Yes.
Hosting that show has been the greatest honor of this week. And I leave it in good hands. Floyd is a remarkable host, if you like that kind of thing. And, so everything's good at Canton Brew Works.
Good to hear, yes. Also, a black woman will be taking over for you.
Ouch. Okay.
He knows he knows I'm kidding.
You want to break it to Skippy, or should I?
Something tells me that, she knows he's not a woman. Something tells me that.
I get the feeling.
Yeah, I get the feeling that he's proven that he can,
Something's about to burst onto the scene, disproving your weird theory.
Yeah. I've only had that theory for about 9 months, and I'm sure it'll be broken soon. But yes, Ned, it is great to have you here in house.
Pleasure.
Hi, Ned.
Yeah, and again, he does a fantastic job hosting that mic every single week. What is that like, knowing that you've got to go up there every week and try and, you know, keep
I wasn't kidding. Floyd is hosting now. We just changed it back.
Oh, okay.
Not joking.
Well, perfect timing.
Look, man.
Yeah.
I'm not joking. No, seriously. Floyd, Floyd's the person who gave me the show in the first place. What was it, 2 years ago? And just a few weeks ago, because I've been getting I've been missing a lot of shows because I've had other things on Fridays. And he said, if you want, I can just take the show back. And I said, yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Okay.
So Floyd is the new host at Canberra.
Okay, so yeah. The parallels
We
are...
can edit all that out.
Well, so do you have any plans to host any open mics or like host any of your own
I
rooms?
would like to open a room somewhere closer to home. I live in Ann Arbor. I would like to open a room. I just started the process of looking into that, and I'm open to any advice you might have because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
What's your what do you like about hosting a room?
Lots of stage time, and also we kind of had a group of regulars there, and I really think it became a place where people knew they could do experiment and have fun and feel safe, and I would routinely give people 8-minute spots because we had the space, we had the time, and I felt that this person really deserves this. And I also asked a few people to guest host for me besides Floyd that really may not have felt ready to do so, but I asked them to anyway, and it always worked out great.
That's fantastic.
Let me throw this person in the deep end and see if they can swim. And they always well, one guy drowned, but most of them no, it worked out great. So I really enjoyed having that kind of option.
Yeah, because really there is no. You can read all you want about comedy. You can listen to people talk about comedy. You can watch comedy, but there is no. What's the word I'm looking for? There is
substitute.
Thank you for experience and literally just doing it and doing it and doing it and never stopping.
Yeah. One thing I really always admired about you as well, Ned, is anytime I would go see you, you weren't telling the same jokes. You always had fresh, new material. Oh, and
well, that's because he doesn't write. So.
Wow.
Wow.
One more like that, lady. These sutures are gone.
Yeah.
But, yikes. Yeah, I wrote that. The elbow bit. I wrote that.
But, yeah, like,
That's nice to hear.
Yeah,
Thank
like,
you.
running a lot of the rooms I do, like, people now are giving me, like, we like you laughter instead of we've heard these jokes a million fucking times, and, so it's, like, it's hard for me to sit down and try and, like, write new material. So, like, where do you find the time to consistently write fresh new material?
I've never in my whole life sat down to write stand-up, ever.
What's your approach?
Ideas pop into my head. Usually when I'm watching other comics, it's the weirdest thing. No, I'm just teasing. I'll be doing the dishes, walking to a thing, picking something, and in the middle of nothing whatsoever, something comes in my head, and I immediately email it to myself because I'm 1,000 years old. I should have one of those things that you can talk in, and one day I'll have one. But things occur to me as I go through my day, and for no apparent reason, and they just and the ones that stick.
Yep.
And then later I'll write down, brown sign or something, and I'll remember what that's about.
Yep.
And then later I'll write it out, and then it's a new thing.
Okay.
Were you that way in school learning? There's a
And by
variety.
school, you mean?
That one room building in the middle of the field where
Doesn't ring
everyone.
a bell.
No, there are different ways that people learn. Some people are more visual. Some people are more auditory. Some people do like to read. Was that a thing that when you were going to school, is that how you learned better, or were you more structured then?
Structured.
Yep.
And I learned. I have to drop a name here.
Please do.
Joan Rivers taught me something. I said, Joan, you want me to write that down for you? She said, no, I have to write it myself. If I write it out myself in longhand, I will have memorized it. And so no one can do that for me, and I can't type it, and I can't talk it. I have to physically write it out. And that was a great lesson, because that's how I memorize things, too.
Interesting.
You're not the only one to say that. Like when you actually take the time to put pen to paper, for some reason, it just sticks with you more than just kind of like typing up a note or...
It's kind of like in college. You missed a lecture. Can I borrow your notes? Yeah, sure. that doesn't really give you much, because in order to write notes about something, you have to hear it and then paraphrase it in your own words, and that process imprints it on your brain. So you can't have someone hand it to you. That's what I'm saying, and I learned that a long time ago. Yeah.
When did you decide that you were going to go the comedy route?
Seriously?
Yeah, like was it like...
I did stand-up comedy in college.
That's what
In the
98% of people say, is that it was college.
And then
so
I
that's
took a
why I was
25-year break. Or was it 30? And then when I moved back home in 2016, and just out of curiosity, I went to a couple shows, and I thought, well, I could do that, you know, which is why most comedians start. I think most musicians, most rock bands start that. Well, I could do that. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
But there was a long period where, I mean, I know a lot. I know hundreds of comedians. I've worked on shows that were showcase shows. I worked at the Improv in New York, blah, 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 blah. But it was just not part of my life until it was again.
And that's where I was going, was to go through some of the blah, blah, blah. Because I wasn't sure, I legitimately didn't know if you started stand-up, then went writing, and then came back to stand-up, or if you were writing, and then went,
Started stand-up in college at U of M, did stand-up at the Student Union. Tim Allen, I used to open for him, and Sheila Kay, you might remember that name. Jeff Jenna, they were big stars. And then I moved to New York to become rich and famous and get my own talk show. You know,
the huge.
There's a thing you have to fill out.
Yeah.
And
What was
in the
what was
meantime,
the force?
I started doing stand up in New York, which is a lot harder. And then I got a job as an NBC page, which is the coolest job there is. I recommend it highly. And then
Take notes.
I got a job as a bartender at the Improv. And then I started meeting comedians. And they're like, what are you waiting for? Let's go, let's go. Michael Patrick King, he's the Sex and the City guy.
Oh, yeah.
We were watching the bookkeeper for the club on stage just eating it. And he turns to me and goes, Ned, come on. You have 5 minutes. Let's go. So he shamed me into auditioning.
He shamed you into it.
And then I did it for a couple of years. But when I got my first writing job in TV, I just like walked away from stand-up.
Interesting.
I'm not sure why. I mean, I was terrible. I was awful. It was just frightening. But as soon as I got that first writing job, I just said, "Oh."
Was that your predetermined end goal? Is that what you were striving for?
Which?
Was the writing, or was it once it happened, you were so surprised and you just wanted to jump
I didn't
in?
know what I was going to be when I grew up, because I don't know if you heard, I never made the Detroit Tigers.
What?
That didn't happen.
It didn't. No,
You have to know somebody.
Oh.
Blah blah blah.
Well, I kind of know somebody.
Don't
so.
get me started. And turns out there's no money in being a cowboy.
Oh.
So when I was in college, I didn't know what to do with myself until I turned on this morning show hosted by this weird guy named David Letterman. And then it went, click! I watched the credits and I'm like, oh, they pay people. Okay, and that was that. That was
Gotcha.
that. I was put on earth to be a writer for David Letterman. And I actually, years later, I freelanced, I sold him jokes, but I never got a staff writing job on that show, and that was my great. But anyway,
Yeah,
sorry, I decided Letterman is what, that's what turned the switch in my head, Letterman.
It's fascinating to hear that, because I think there's a lot of discussion about the importance of representation, and for people to be able to see themselves and see that something is possible, to then know that they can do it and or do it better or different, understand the rules before you can break them, kind of thing. And I love that Letterman was your goal. So is that what got you to move to New York?
Oh yeah.
Like, oh, Letterman's there. I'm gonna go there.
And, I'll be a page, and then I'll just jump onto the writing staff. Well, it doesn't work that way, but yeah.
Yeah. What was your first writing gig?
A game show on MTV called Remote Control.
Shut your face!
Some people have heard of. Yes. It was so great.
Wow.
It was so much
All right,
fun.
this entire show is now different. Apologies, listener. This is the Elena meets Ned Rice for the first time show.
The warm-up guy, Mark Cohen, was a regular at the Improv. He goes, we're hiring. You should submit something. So I wrote a bunch of questions. It's a game, it's a quiz show.
Yeah.
And they came back to me and said, these are funny. Could you make these funnier? I mean, these are good questions about TV trivia. Could you make them funnier? So I did a thing, and they go, oh, yeah, okay. Come work for us. I think it was $650 a week or something. And I was like in heaven, like,
Yeah.
la. It was so great.
That's
Oh my
amazing.
In fact, the thing that put me over the edge, I created a new category. I thought of a new category about private eyes female assistants. And it was called Chicks with Dicks. And that's what I think that's what got me in the door. And it went from there.
Talking about representation, legitimately, when I think about my love for game shows and my love for comedy, that show is what did it for me.
Oh, that's so nice.
It's the exact intersection, and it's gone from there. And shout out to Guy Branum for Talk Show the Game Show, but like it was so good. I
got to work with Colin Quinn. He's my favorite comedian. And met some really cool people.
Kari Wurr and
Yep.
and Sandler and Ken.
Dennis Leary. The late Ken Ober was on the show. Red Hot Chili Peppers came on. It was sick.
It was
really good.
it was the prime MTV is cool time. Like, yeah, it was
another thing that I put out there was a roast. Colin Quinn roast. And he would roast someone without saying their name, and you had to guess who it was.
Oh, that's
Whatever. So it was a roasty thing, and I was on the panel, and Henny Youngman was on the show.
Shut up.
Because he's, roast
Yeah.
classic. And at the end of the show, the credits were rolling, and Henny was slow dancing with, not Cara, but the other girl. And I tapped him on the shoulder, and I said, may I cut in? And he said, of course. And the girl went away, and Henny and I started dancing. And I know that because I was raised right.
Now that
Watching the Three Stooges every day. I got to slow dance with Henny Youngman on camera, on TV.
That's gotta be
That
on
was a
YouTube
pretty good-
somewhere.
I think
Please
it
tell
probably-
me that you have that.
That's gotta be on YouTube
No, I should look
somewhere.
for it. I should look
No,
for
I
it.
promise you could find anything on YouTube. I
That would
promise
have
you
been
it's
in
on there.
like 1990 or something. Yeah.
Oh,
I'll look for that.
I
Yeah.
love that
That
story.
was a great moment.
That's fantastic. That is absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna keep going. I don't care how much blah 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 because now I'm
Okay.
invested. So where'd you go next?
I did a morning show called Wake on the Wild Side with my friend Jonathan Solomon and Lisa Edelstein, who later
Oh.
went to work on House. and
Yes.
Girlfriend's Guide to
Yes.
Divorce.
Uh-huh.
She was a piece of work. Caroline's Comedy Hour, some horrid, awful shows at Nickelodeon in Orlando, and then I got the call up to the big leagues. I got a job on Comic Strip Live in LA. Because, New York is like high school, and then
Yep.
LA
Yeah.
is graduating.
Okay.
And then that got me to LA. That was $850 a week, non-union. And then I got Chevy Chase.
The Chevy Chase show?
They hired me 2 weeks after the show debuted.
Oh no!
So it was already over.
Oh
it didn't
my!
matter.
That if you have not seen the Chevy Chase show,
God bless you.
yes, it is.
But I worked for 4 weeks and I got 13 paychecks because they canceled.
Oh
And
my!
it was interesting. It was actually an interesting experience. Chevy
I bet.
was super nice.
You were on.
Really?
Everybody says he's a monster. He could not have been nicer.
That's fantastic.
It's crazy to think that you were on the Titanic of talk shows.
Pretty much.
You were on the Titanic of talk shows,
Pretty much.
and yeah.
But see, by the time I got there, it was enough people watched the first one and said, "This is never." So the show was doomed.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I got there, it was doomed. There was nothing anyone could have done to save it, unless you have a time machine, it's over.
right.
Now, was
right.
So we
that-
just did our best, but it was.
Was
pointless.
that before or after he was in Nothing But Trouble? Because that was a rough stretch for him.
That's a deep.
I don't remember. I remember when he was doing the show, Cops and Robertsons was just about to be released.
Okay.
but I don't remember the timeline of that one.
Yeah, but I mean, have you seen that movie?
I try not to watch his movies.
Yeah, it's again
I
another.
don't even like the good ones. I don't think Christmas was funny. I don't think Vacation. I'm sorry. A friend of mine once said, "Don't rent Chevy Chase movies. Buy them. It's cheaper." And I've always been a fan of that.
Yes.
Not a fan of his movies, but a really nice guy.
That's
I mean, he sent me
fantastic.
Christmas cards for like 3 years.
I mean, but that's cool. It's always nice to hear, like, you know, when you hear about someone being a complete, you know.
I expected nothing but bad.
Yeah, yeah. Wow.
So anyway, that was good.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that you survived the.
After that Tonight Show,
Yeah.
Bill Maher, Kilborn, Ferguson, some other weird stuff. Joan Rivers, Jesselnick, and then I was done. So
I
that's
also
fast
didn't
motion.
know that you were on the Jesselnick Offensive, that one.
Just the last season, yeah.
Did you do the shark thing?
The what?
The shark
Party.
The shark party?
I'm not sure what that means.
That was the apparently that was the nail in the coffin. He had done a shark party joke. What was there was a kid.
It was a guy. A guy got eaten by a shark.
Okay.
And he had like girls dressed up in shark outfits, and they did this dance. And
Yeah, and that's when he got that's when the show got canceled. Was
Oh, I
after
don't
that.
remember that.
Yeah.
I did the last season, but I don't remember the shark thing.
Yeah.
I
I'd have to, because it's like it's a memory that's like kind of here, so I'd have to really dig into it to look it up.
See, my first guild show was Chevy. And
Okay.
there was a guy in the room who had written for, now there's no way you'll know this name, Ernie Kovacs.
oh yeah,
In the 1950s. Well, you're weird.
I am.
So that guy was useless. So fast forward to me on Jesselnick. I was the old guy in the room.
Ah.
So it had come, like,
Yeah,
I got
yeah,
jokes
yeah,
on, I got jokes
yeah.
on, but it was
Yeah.
clearly like, I said telephone once and one of the other guys goes, "You mean cell phone, Ned?" Like it was, he did everything but pat me on the head like,
Yeah.
"Okay, old timer, why don't you just
Yeah.
go sit in the lounge?" Yeah, you know, Matlock's on. So I knew the feeling of seeing the old guy and then being the old guy.
That's
And that's the last
interesting.
guild show I ever worked on.
Do you have any plans?
So far,
Well, I was
this
gonna
fall, who knows? Anything could happen.
ask, would you like to get back into doing that? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take
The
that as a
money
yes.
is like crazy monopoly money. It's crazy, and it's a good line of work. It's fun.
So, like, do you just like submit your jokes to people, your writing, or do you,
Right now,
yeah, or are you waiting for someone to
I
contact
just sit in
you?
the dark and say, "Why, God?"
Well,
Why?
well,
It's like a mantra. It really relaxes me.
Some comedians have that mindset.
And then sometimes I wear men's clothes just for
Yeah, okay,
variety's
yeah.
sake,
Yeah.
and then I go from there. Right now I'm a freelance person. I send jokes to the Orange County Register and to an Ayn Rand Society thing, and every now and then someone will say I have a speech, help.
Yeah.
But I am very actively looking for.
Okay.
I'm trying to package things and pitch them. I still
Okay.
I still know people and stuff, but we'll see.
Well,
We'll see.
I'm glad you have the attitude instead of just like you said, sitting in the basement in the dark, being like, somebody will discover me. It's bound to
Oh
happen.
no, I write every day. I was at home writing that Al Gore thing today.
I thought you were gonna say the elbow thing.
I've already forgotten that.
Yeah.
I tell these tales, and I was just saying to a person the other day, the most fun I've ever had doing any of this stuff is right now doing stand-up. And that's the truth.
That's
Really?
fascinating.
I've been to the Emmys, I could go on and
Yeah,
on and
yeah,
on.
yeah.
The most fun I have in my creative life is doing stand-up. At this age and in this stage of my life.
Why do you think that is?
Because I've always wanted to do it, and I'm starting to get good. And that's the thing that we're here for. Now, this is really, I'm very drunk right now.
Yes, please.
The thing that gives us the most happiness in life is not like sex or drugs or money. The thing that makes us the happiest, in my opinion, and others too, is doing something you're good at and
Yes.
knowing you're doing it.
Yes.
And that's what's happened. On a good night, obviously there are bad nights.
Of course.
Yeah.
On a
Yeah.
good night, it's like, I don't want to do anything but this.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I get that from doing, even just from doing the shows that I do. So that's why I do this.
That is the goal. That is ultimately the goal.
No matter what
in
that thing
life.
is.
Yes, exactly.
It could be cooking,
Right,
it could
right.
be almost anything. But if you're in that process and you know it, that's when we're at our best.
And it's hearing you talk about being the old guy in the room. I
You're repulsed.
am.
It's kind of disgusting.
It is very disgusting.
Got it.
It is.
Line forms right here.
But what dawns on me is to then hear you talk about finding your place and your time and your joy. I truly believe that you can't get to that place without the years of the blah blah blah.
Absolutely.
Like there is
For sure.
there is so much experience and bullshit that you go through in life that there's no way that you can.
I wasn't ready
again,
to do this when I was younger.
Yes.
I was too insecure. And frankly, I drank a lot. So I wasn't ready to do anything like this until
Yeah.
recently.
That's
yeah.
fantastic. I'm the sappy one on the show, but I'm really excited to hear that. And you
We have to have a sap off.
A sap. Oh boy.
And you're going down, timber. Was that Elena, or did some thing fall down?
I will cry. It's
Okay.
it's fine.
I like it.
But you working so closely with so many performers who, in theory, should also be experiencing something like that. Whatever demons they may have at that time, they may or may not have actually been experiencing that joy. But you talked about, Joan's advice about writing it down. She is someone I have, of course, admired and borderline idolized for forever. And I project a lot onto what I perceive her to be. But when she's in that moment, do you think that she had that joy?
That's exactly who I was going to bring up. When I worked for Joan, she worked 7 days a week. She flew across country 2 or 3 times a week. She would do a gig anywhere, anytime. She did 2 TV shows, radio. It never stopped. She would take a nap in the afternoon. And people go, oh, the money. I'm like, it has nothing to do with money. She's really rich. It has nothing to do with money. It's she feels joy on the stage. And she feels like, I spent 50 years of my life learning how to do this. I'm just going to walk away. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Right.
Crochet? The hell with that.
Yep.
That's when I'm happy. And she's a prime example of that.
That brings me a lot of joy hearing
Yeah.
that. That's really great.
true.
Have you to kind of bastardize a little bit of that, have you seen Hacks?
I watched the first season and I liked it very much. I haven't kept up with it because I don't understand how TV works.
Fair.
I'm very curious to get back to it. I just found out Carol Leifer's writing for that show. I love Carol Leifer. There's never really been anything realistic done about stand-up that I can think of, but Hacks was pretty. I just love Jean Smart so much. I love her in everything.
Yes.
So I thought this is probably as good as it's gonna get.
That's honestly what I felt about it too, because Maisel, I know Maisel got a lot of popularity, and I know that there were some good people writing on it.
I loved the first season, and after that it went off the rails.
Yeah, because
First season was so good,
it feels like
and it had nothing to do with stand-up.
Agreed. It feels like once TV gets a hold of it, the TV world then spins it.
Well, it was like that movie Punchline with Tom Hanks.
The luck.
You can't do a realistic movie. Well, let's see. I did open mics and one-nighters for 14 years. That's not an interesting movie.
But
what's interesting is I started stand-up, and in 3 weeks I got the Tonight Show. But it has nothing to do with real life.
Right.
So anyway,
No, I was just
I'm
gonna.
trying to outsap you.
I was just gonna say, do you have a locker room when you're doing
pardon.
stand-up?
How do you mean?
That in Punchline, there is there's a scene where they're kind of like in a locker room, like before they go on stage.
The comics backstage,
Right?
they get changed, they get taped up, and,
Yes.
they take a steam.
It's
and
like
a
how
whirlpool.
what?
That was so great. That was so great. Oh man.
Yeah.
If you want to see, I can recommend. The best thing I ever saw about stand-up was Sleepwalk with Me, Mike Birbiglia's movie. I just saw a movie a couple weeks ago. I Used to Be Funny,
I don't.
and
know
it's
that one.
about a stand-up comic, but there's not much of stand-up in it. But it's a very good movie. There's some stand-up in it.
Yeah.
But accurate portrayals of stand-up life are very, very rare.
Yes.
Most of them are awful. I watched I'm Dying Up Here. I couldn't even get through it. And there's really good people on it and stuff.
That was
What
the
else?
Comedy Store one, right?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah.
There was the Pete Holmes one. What was that?
Crashing.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that. I love Pete Holmes.
I think
That guy's
what I will
funny.
say, I enjoyed that show.
Which one?
Crashing.
Okay.
And I think it's a good representation of the stand-up life of Pete Holmes. So it's like I don't know that I would agree with everything from a
Probably everyone's would be different.
Right.
Every stand-up comic's story would be
right, but
appreciably
it's
different.
the life of Pete Holmes as told by Judd Apatow. So the interpersonal connections are higher than the stand-up because they're more interesting. But it shows him barking, and it shows him working at, shitty places, and his marriage falling apart, and then him working at slightly better places. And so it does,
Oh, I should get
it
that. Is
does,
it a series?
yeah, it went for
Oh, I should get that.
2 or 3 seasons. I
yeah,
don't remember.
something like
How
that.
old is it?
Ooh.
2016, I'm
Yeah, I
gonna
wanna
guess.
Say, I want to say 17, 16, 17.
Yeah. HBO
Comedian's very good too.
comedian,
That's
the Seinfeld
hanging
and
out
Orny.
backstage. And, yeah, and Colin at the cellar. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's well done.
Yeah, it is.
It's a documentary. It's not scripted. That's the thing.
Yes, and there are so many. Like, I mean, we're on a podcast now, but in
are?
the podcast
Good Lord!
realm,
I thought this was my driver's test.
And you're failing,
What's your name?
Alan.
You seem nice. Can we be done?
oh, we'll get you
It's
some.
dinner time.
We'll
yet?
get you some tea.
I'll be stepping down.
We'll get you some.
It's time. It's time, Dean. Daryl. Dean? Daryl.
Get this man some applesauce and a jelly.
By the way,
Are
these
we
are
playing
delicious.
Bunko tonight?
These are tasty. Is that like a cherry inside?
If you like those, you'll love the blue ones.
That's enough. That's
blue-
Oh goodness. But with podcasting and content creation changing constantly, like you said, you don't know how TV works now. There are so many people that are pontificating and talking about the idea of stand-up and what it was like for them coming up and what they perceive the future to be. When you look at that versus your experience, does that excite you to get in on that discussion, or is it just...
It does.
It does?
Just a quick, you just talked about content, and people say content is king. I used to think it was content is king, and I'm like, well, I'm pretty content.
Yeah.
So for
Content
years
is
I
king.
just coasted.
Nice.
And then someone clued me in like,
Nice.
it's content.
Yeah.
And it's everything's different now. Stand-up is hot now. I didn't realize that. It's it's huge now. Well, I was in the game in a very, it's not as good now. The money isn't as good. The jobs aren't as good.
Yep.
Jobs aren't last as long. I was in a really golden age, and I didn't even realize it. And I was just in variety. If I'd gone to primetime, forget about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be talking to any of you people.
No.
No, the money in primetime is insane.
Yes.
So, and those days are to a great extent over, and they're just waiting for the next thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I've answered you. But
Yeah,
yeah, it's different.
I don't know that I actually
And
asked
also
a question,
now,
but
instead of, well, there was a time when they would say a good comic good enough to do the Tonight Show. Let's say had the right friends. They'd say, "Here's $1 million. We want you to come back here in 3 years and bring us 4 show ideas."
Yep.
Well, they don't do that anymore.
Nope.
Now they find out who's got a podcast, who's got all this free stuff on the internet. Those are the that's the fish tank that they
Yep.
pluck them out of for free, and those people get show deals, which in some cases are justified. So that has changed a lot. There's no more of those $1 million checks. It's like, okay, we'll see you in 3 years. Like, no, not anymore.
Right. And
So that's changed a lot.
and it's all intermingled because people aren't viewing things
No.
in the same way. You know, people aren't sitting down on Tuesday night at 8:00 to watch the thing.
No more
They're
must-see
watching
TV.
it whenever they want,
is-
and
Yeah,
No more water cooler shows.
Yep.
Yes.
That's over.
I think the last water cooler show is probably like The Walking Dead. Like that's the last one I could remember actually like going into work on Monday and like talking to people about it because now.
Oh, I thought you meant me.
Oh,
The
well,
show.
Oh,
The show.
Ta-da.
The Walking Dead.
I hate that.
You're the stumbling dead.
Yeah.
You're not even a full
Stumbling
walk.
Dead. But that's
Took him
You've been
3
writing.
minutes to get
I can see that
downstairs.
You've been writing.
that's a good. You're probably right though because they then tried to capitalize on that. You
Yeah.
know, they had the Talking Dead and the
Oh, yeah.
spin-offs
Yeah,
and you know
oh,
so
God.
And then the
Yeah.
show where they talk about the show.
exactly yeah.
Like
So
on
that's
E!
how
Yeah.
you know
Funny.
that it's
It was-
that
That's
it's
what we call
reached
milking a.
it's
Yeah.
reached the zeitgeist. So
Yeah.
now we're
That's
gonna
so funny.
yeah.
It's crazy to think too that there was that show Comic Book Men that was on after The
Talking
Walking
Dead.
Dead, but like the only reason that show survived is because it was a parasite of the
Yeah.
Walking Dead. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a great show,
I
but
did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah, well,
Kevin
I mean,
Smith.
Smart.
yeah, and then of course,
Well, now they have young Sheldon. I mean, nobody minds a spinoff. That's
Right.
always a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
What is your
Built-in
favorite
audience.
spinoff of all time? What do you think? Favorite spinoff of all time? Frasier?
Oh, that's a
Frasier.
great call.
Yeah.
Frasier was.
Yes.
Oh, that's such a good
I'll get
call.
walkouts on this one.
Okay.
Frasier, in my view, was smarter and funnier than Cheers.
I
You're
agree
right.
with
And it
that.
spun
Yeah,
off.
you're
of
right.
Yeah, I don't think that's really.
So we
that-
don't have to fight.
No, we
no.
don't have to
Yeah.
fight.
Like that's not a very controversial statement at all.
I thought I was being super edgy.
No.
What other? Let's see.
Family Matters is a spinoff of Perfect Strangers. Did you know that?
I did not
Did
know
not know
that.
that.
Yeah, because Harriet, the wife of Carl, was the elevator lady for like Balky and what was his name?
Cousin Larry.
Wilson Nettie.
Oh yeah,
Belky Bartolomos.
I would have said the Jeffersons, personally.
yeah.
Oh, World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. The first one
Yeah.
was fun.
It's fine.
Yeah,
If
Have
you
you heard
like
about
the first
Nazis?
one, right?
that was a sequel.
Well, buckle up,
Yeah.
honey.
Well, you know they're making a trilogy apparently, so
I used to call it World War 2.0, but no one cared. Nobody wanted
Yeah.
to hear that.
yeah. Nobody.
Now
yeah.
look what happened.
Yeah.
What was your favorite format to work in? Was it a game show? Was it a talk show? Was
I
it
just did talk shows. I mostly am a joke writer. I wrote sketches.
Would you
I
want to
did
be
a couple
host,
game
maybe?
shows. I did a couple game shows.
Would you ever want to be like the host of a show, like the Ned Rice
Oh,
show?
I could do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it, yeah.
I'd love to do that.
Nobody would watch, but I mean, you know, I would.
No. It would be in a special part of the home. Some people call it day room. I prefer to call it the studio.
Ah, yeah.
They with fake lights. I actually pitched a game
Legitimately
show.
would watch that.
Pardon?
I legitimately would watch that.
So you're shut in. I pitched a game show. I'm going to repitch it right now. It's called Elevator Pitch.
Okay.
We're partners. You pitch me shows and movies. Can't name them, obviously. You can't name any of the stars, and I have to guess based
Okay.
on your pitch. And then round 2, I pitch to you.
Okay.
And you could have an elevator on the set to make it. But the point is, people do this all day long. What was that movie with that girl that was
With
in
the
that?
thing and
We
the-
do it all the time. Make it a game show.
Got it.
And
Oh,
I
okay.
pitched it, and everyone was like, "No, that's really high concept. And no one would get it." I'm like, maybe adults would get it. Like, isn't that a good idea?
What you'd have to do is you'd
want you
have
to
to
say yes.
yes
Okay, go
you'd
ahead.
have to do the elevator but then base it somehow in score or time.
Well, every time you got one right, to go up a floor.
Right,
Yeah.
and then the loser like falls out
Yeah,
of the bottom of the other.
you would plummet to the bottom of the elevator shaft, hopelessly killed.
Yes, because that's what they're like.
It's
oh,
a game
how
show
are-"
where you pitch to others, which we do all the time. It would be fun. It would
be
have little
fun.
show busy thingies to it.
Do you think
Anyway,
maybe they
it
were
would be
worried
fun.
that it was too much of like an insider type thing?
That's what they said.
Oh,
yeah,
you
my
see-
one friend said when I heard elevator pitch, I said no chance, and I'm like, that's just the name.
Just
you can
the
call
name,
it
yes.
Billy if you want. It's
Yeah.
it's such an obvious game show.
No, I
Yeah.
think that'd be. Yeah, I think
Could
people
just be
would
the
watch
guy
it.
with the thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I see that movie, The Guy with the Thing.
The book was better. Truthfully. The guy with the thing.
Oh wow.
2.
Yeah.
Get ready, America.
Yeah.
Rated R. If you want to see it, you're gonna have to
thing.
ask your mama. Remember that for Shaft?
Yeah. I mean, I know who
That's
Shaft
going
is.
way back in time. When the first Shaft movie came out, the TV ads were rated R. If you want to go see it, you're gonna have to ask your mama. And then they came out with Shaft 2, and he goes, "You're gonna have to ask your mama again." I swear to God, this is the childhood I came out
Oh my
of.
god.
That
was
is
legal.
beautiful.
When I was a child,
Oh
you could
my-
do that on TV.
That is
I am now
beautiful.
canceled.
That has got to
is
be
so-
on YouTube as well.
That is so good.
And, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I've decided to step down.
One of many reasons.
I referenced
good
a
of the
Shaft
nation.
commercial. From the 60s. It's about America.
Well,
It's not about me or Dr. Biden. It's
I
about America.
I want to watch Shaft, so I guess I have to ask my mama.
Man, you sure
That's
do.
so
I do.
good.
Do you remember when they remade Shaft and Samuel L. Jackson was Shaft? You remember that?
What a sacrilege.
Yes,
No,
yeah.
I remember the idea. I couldn't.
It was
look at
horrible.
such
I
a
remember that came out. I'm like, why would
thing.
they?
Sounds like a terrible idea.
It was a terrible idea. It was a terrible movie.
Remember when they remade Fletch and John Hamm was Fletch?
No, no.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Legitimately.
I've got to get a TV. Enough already with this craziness. Oh, sure, I love the radio. Who doesn't?
Yeah.
But the picture,
Moving.
it's like a talking picture.
Yeah, they call them talkies.
With the things.
The other thing,
You're a
yeah.
man with a thing. That's what you are.
I am a man with a thing. Yes.
I love this.
Yeah. You know that they have TVs in color now too, by the way.
Get out of my life.
I swear to you, yeah. This will be in color, believe it or not.
Oh. Mind blown.
Yeah, it's gonna be on the internet.
I need to go lay down somewhere.
Yeah, we have a,
On the internet.
I have a futon.
It's a series of tubes connecting us
Yes.
to our overlords.
and Al Gore.
He's the one who invented the internet, by the way.
That's what I hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on Facebook. Anyway,
So, you're loving stand-up now. You're loving doing it. You're loving hosting it, being a part of the scene. What else drives a Mr. Ned Rice from a passion side of life?
fighting crime, obviously.
Of
No,
course.
yeah.
Well, given.
That's my day job.
That's
Yeah.
why Ann Arbor is so safe.
Ah, I never thought of that.
I've been writing a story. I've been writing my memoirs. I started in 2015, and they're about 2/3 done. And I haven't looked at it for years. And I still think I should finish it.
I very much think
And
that
I
you
just
should.
can't. I have 2 or 3 other things in the rotation first. Like, we'll use these as an example.
Okay.
The book, and then I have 1, 2, 3 other things I'm working on. But I would like to do that.
Is it a mental block, or is it actual procrastination?
It's,
Or
it's
a
some of
prioritization,
Both. It's some
sorry.
of both. But the sad part is, with each passing year, I'm forgetting.
Yes.
I can't even tell you how many times people have come. Remember that thing we did with that one thing, and I'm like, no memory at all.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. So I've lost. I wish I'd kept a journal, but I wish a lot of things.
Of
in
course.
the old days. So with each passing year, it's getting harder. I'm gonna really try to do that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, I've got about 2/3 of it written. Each chapter is one show I worked on. So and then there's like an
Fantastic.
intro, and then there's like what I learned at the end. So there's something there, but gotta finish it. And the other thing is, it's almost impossible to publish something like that if you're not famous. So it might just be a vanity thing. I might just give it to friends.
But
and
you
stuff.
never- I
I'd
mean-
like to get it on paper.
Yes.
Well, I mean, so many famous authors, their works became popular long after they died. So, you know, you can
Well,
take
that's my
solace in that.
long-term goal.
Yes,
Is
yeah.
to be a dead rich guy.
Okay, yeah. I
Are you
mean,
feeling all right?
I'm feeling fine. Yeah.
You are no longer my agent. You're fired. Anyway.
Yeah, like H.P. Lovecraft, he didn't become
The
popular.
you play the long game.
Yes.
Look, Ned, you'll be dead as a
Yeah.
hammer.
You'll be dead
But
in
you'll
about,
be in the nicest coffin, dude.
Look, when
It'll
I
be like a duplex. It'll be crazy.
in like
Chick and the dead chicks.
Yeah.
Hello.
in like 2 years, you know, when your book is out and you're dead, I'll make sure that I buy a copy for you.
We'll get a bronze plate for you at Canton Brew Works, right on the wall.
Another one?
Legitimate offer on camera, so it is burned in time. If you would like some help, even if it's just a constant poke in writing, I'm not gonna do any of the words. You have to take care of the
You
words.
can harass and
But I
you can nag me?
I can type.
Dear diary.
I can
Today it happened.
I can type and I can interview.
Oh, I thank you.
And keep that moving, because
That's good
I
to
think that's genuinely important. I think that would be really
Yes.
really
Very nice.
really
I-
really good.
Thank you.
I wish I could write something. I wrote a lot in like high school and college, and I actually won awards for writing, and then I just...
Wasn't it mostly ransom notes though?
It was, yes, it was. I got my ransom.
Because that's
yeah,
that's a real
Yeah.
niche.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
you got paid. That's good.
Yeah,
But
you know.
as far as just pleasure reading, they become tiresome. Did you write it out, or did you cut letters out of a magazine?
so I would go the magazine route.
Because I just got this new font. It's called
Yeah.
Ransom Note.
The magazine...
It saves you
Yeah.
hours of time. I can knock out a ransom note in like
Thanks,
3 minutes.
Microsoft.
What I've learned is you make
It's in the cloud.
you make the victim write their own letter, so that way they know it's legit.
You're real. I can
Yes,
tell.
you
You're
make them
good.
write their own letter,
Okay.
and
Well,
that way,
like you said, the
yeah.
handwriting, it burns it into their brain.
yeah. And
Look at you.
what's it's crazy
Look
too
at you.
is you
Bringing
give,
it all home again.
if you give the,
Shit.
you give the victim a coloring book too, and they can color. That way, they start to
Okay.
they develop.
I
you
don't
know-
see color, but okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like where this is going.
Yes.
I wish I knew how to write.
Me too.
What is that syndrome called where you start?
Munchausen's by proxy? Is that what you're
No, it's where
I
they,
love that band.
Where your
They're the
captives
best.
where your captives actually learn to like sympathize with you.
Oh,
thinking?
yeah.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
Stockholm.
Yeah,
Stockholm.
it helps to develop Stockholm syndrome. and
Or
then-
as I call it, marriage. But it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, but yeah,
It's similar.
I would recommend making your victim actually like write their own letter.
wow.
You're not gonna get a lot of money, but aim high and expect medium. Okay.
After a certain point, it's not funny because I think you're serious. And we're there.
Well,
No.
Yeah.
Very funny stuff.
yeah.
That-
So it's
Love the
Funny
new
and
stuff.
comfortable
Says
writing.
the
Yeah.
man who cons people to come into his basement.
yes. yeah.
Lures. I think lures is the word you're looking for.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh, there'd be chicken. Yeah.
I mean, did my basement flood in
Fake
January?
Coke.
Or did I have to clean up blood? Who knows?
Fake Diet Coke.
You didn't notice the syringe mark at the top. I just noticed.
You'll notice it soon enough. Things start getting a little hazy down here. You'll start.
That's the real
You
reason
are-
for the timer, because we know that's how long.
You are going to be so sore.
Why does
tomorrow.
it say 668?
Ned, you are going to be so sore tomorrow, my friend.
Promises.
Have you ever heard of Benny and Barney Hill? No. Okay,
Benny-
that's too niche.
Benny Hill?
Benny and Barney Hill. Betty and Barney Hill. That's probably too niche for everybody. It's
know
it's a
Benny
story about UFO abduction. It's like the most compelling one of all time. Like they got abducted and they didn't come. They never said that they were abducted because it was back when like interracial marriage was a problem for some reason. And yeah, when they got put under hypnosis, like all these horrible things apparently happened to them, and they were able to name all these different star systems that we hadn't yet discovered, but were eventually discovered.
Just 911.
Yeah.
Keep going, please.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
Really
Yeah, but
Hurry.
it was all the regression they had.
So why were they put under hypnosis to begin with?
Because apparently that can help you with repressed memories.
Yes.
Which
Right,
Ned will
but-
have to go through after today.
Right, but
day
was
of my
it them saying we want to do this, or
Were they victims?
Yeah, did the FBI
they
come get
experienced
them or
missing
what?
time. They experienced like a 12-hour gap in time, And they, for many years, were like wondering, and then I
Or
think
as
it
I
was
call that, Tuesday.
yeah, and then Barney started having nightmares about what was happening, and
Oh, okay.
eventually-
So they went to like a
Yeah.
therapist or whatever.
yeah.
Okay.
And the one thing that always sticks out to me about that story is, and again, this is all speculation. Like apparently the beings that were working on Barney were like freaking out because he wore dentures, and they didn't understand why his teeth came out but his wife's didn't, and they were trying to pull her teeth out, and
That would be vexing.
they couldn't. So I'm a wealth of crazy knowledge, but yes.
I like it.
Yeah, you're gonna be.
Can I get a transcript of this, or do I have to just...
Aren't you a writer? For Christ's sakes, Ned, you can write. Yeah,
I'm a writer.
you're a writer.
More of a typer.
A typer. I have a typewriter
Okay,
somewhere.
perfect.
Yeah, you can type it up on your old
Help.
school. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's my crazy.
I know.
We go off there. Yeah, just
Oh.
No, that was a really good
no, yeah. Honest to God,
sidetrack.
look it up. Look it up. Betty and Barney Hill, the most famous UFO abduction story of all time.
Yeah, ask Mike Bobbitt about his feet thing that Justin creeped him out with.
Oh,
the feet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bubblefoot. He calls me. He calls me Bubblefoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently Mike Bobbitt has a thing, like, he doesn't like feet, and, you know, he was asking me about my feet because I'm a runner, and I explained to him one of the...
I don't think he asked you.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole point.
Well, he sat down next to me.
Yeah.
How much clearer could he have been?
I should have been like, hey, Bobbitt, just go ahead and put my foot up here, and...
Oh, yeah.
Let's just say don't run a marathon when you have a hole in your shoe, because...
Okay.
Yeah, it's,
Otherwise, I'm free to do that.
yeah. So,
I should jot that down.
That should be the name of your memoirs.
yes.
Don't run a marathon when you have a hole in your shoe. The Ned Rice story.
And other tales.
Trust me, if you want a cover of that, if you want the cover photo of that, I've got that.
Wow.
I've got the cover photo.
Yeah.
That was
Don't
not
worry,
a
you'll
fun-
forget this by tonight.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. And then again, when you go through hypnosis, you'll have your own.
Does anybody else smell toast? Anybody?
He's having a stroke. I just smell the chlorophyll.
Fun stuff.
Yeah. I smell the chlorophyll oozing out. Dare to switch.
So Ned, what's been your favorite place to perform lately?
Besides this basement, of course.
Trying to
Besides
get out of this.
This is more of a dungeon.
Yes.
Where do I love to perform? Detroit House of Comedy's getting kind of fun.
Yeah.
Much to my chagrin.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at all at first. But it's a wonderful place. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just more comfortable there. I'm starting to really enjoy that place.
Is it? Do you find a difference in your comfort level, stage-wise? So do you find that you are more comfortable performing in a place that you're able to move around, or kind of more?
I'm not one of those walk around people.
Okay.
I've seen 2 one-man shows recently, and the person was like stalking, and I thought they must tell them to do that. You
Is that
can't-
Alex?
I saw that was good, and then I saw another one recently that wasn't as good. But they just constantly storm all over. I like just standing behind the. I don't even take it out of the stand now usually.
Okay.
It's more the audiences. Mm-hmm. House of Comedy has 25 or 30 civilians every Tuesday night,
Yep.
and some places don't have any.
Yes. Very
They
very
have
true.
A couple
Yeah.
who are like, I thought it was trivia night. You know?
Yeah.
That place has and it's a nice, it's a
Yeah.
legitimate theater.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah,
it's
yeah. I don't remember where I heard this. I don't know if it was a Kid Rock or Chris Rock retelling, or if it was Eddie himself. But when he was starting off, he moved a lot because he was saying if they can see me and they know that I'm going to be behind this microphone, then they can stop paying attention to me. If I keep moving, they never know where I'm going to be next. So I can hold their attention longer. When he was just starting off as almost like I won't say full on writing crutch, but a little bit of like, I don't know how my jokes are going to do, so at least I can keep their attention.
It does. Under certain circumstances, it could look desperate. Mm-hmm. Like a desperate attempt to look at me.
Yep. Yep.
That's a good point. I just don't like doing it, but for some people it's important.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is.
The big thing now is this is my thing. This is my cause.
Okay.
Like if I was the first lady of the United States, which could still happen,
Mm-hmm.
they all have a cause. My cause is this: if you're on stage and there's not a spotlight on your face, get one. You can't do a show in the dark. And I've been to clubs, I've been to shows like booked money shows, and I'm like, where is the spotlight?
Really?
If you can't see my face, I cannot do my act.
That's
And
yes.
I don't do impressions. I talk. Mm-hmm. And you'd be surprised how many people have no idea what I'm talking about, or don't think it's important,
Right.
Or they offer you a flashlight or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no. You have to It's almost as important as the microphone itself, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my. Now I'm done with that talk. But
That
yeah,
is-
a really huge, big deal.
We'll get
Yeah.
some yard signs printed up.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
What's
vote for
And
Ned.
whatever you can donate,
Yes.
it all counts.
We will have the link to the Kickstarter or the GoFundMe, whichever one
Is
is
there a QR code?
probably.
I
Yeah.
love that about you.
What is on your bucket list of places to perform?
Oh. I want to work at the Improv on Melrose.
Okay.
Yeah. And I did once.
Yeah.
I did a set at the Ann Arbor Showcase. Did very good, very well. This is probably 2 years.
Okay.
Did the exact same set word for word at the Improv, at the Melrose Improv. There wasn't a single sound out of the audience. I didn't hear a chair move. Nothing.
Wow.
In fact, I did get one laugh about 30 seconds in just death, and I said to the guy, "How are we doing for time?" Other than that, they might just as well have been statues. It was amazing. So I would
Wow.
love to do a set at the Melrose Improv and get a chuckle or two. That would be cool.
I think you'll be able to do that, Ned. I have faith in you if you're still alive at that point.
Did
What
you
are the odds, really?
Yeah.
now? Are you the type of person that then internalizes all of that and tries to figure out why and what you did differently and why they weren't responsive, or are you more the type that is like, okay, well, that was them and I'm gonna move on to my next thing?
Both,
Okay.
in that order too.
Okay.
But I'm really not a fan of. Just had a conversation about this yesterday. Blaming the audience. Mm-hmm. And I will grant you that some audiences are tougher than others. Mm-hmm. But I've also seen way too many people blame, for some odd reason. Every time they go on stage, the audience is bad.
It's so weird.
It's like,
Yeah, what a...
huh? We've had bad weather for 70 years. It's the weirdest thing. So I think it's a real crutch.
Yes,
To
I
blame
agree.
the audience. My view is, your job was to make those people in Iowa laugh, and you failed.
Yes.
Why did that happen?
Yes.
So I'd much rather not go to that blaming the audience routine.
Mm-hmm.
Randy Credico was a great comedian in New York. He did the Tonight Show once, and he didn't do the set that they asked him to do, and he was like, what a great story. Carson dismissed him. Anyway, he used to say, I have a new Japanese girlfriend. She only speaks 4 words of English. Not you, bad crowd. Again, I'm canceled. But it's, you know what I mean? It's so
Yes.
easy to get into that pattern of blaming. Every night you blame the audience.
Yes.
Maybe you should have looked at them before maybe watch I did this last night. When the person's on before you, walk around, look at them.
Yeah.
Are they, do they look like the kind of people that would laugh
Yeah.
at an abortion joke? Probably not. Maybe they would.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they've probably heard of Beyonce? Not this bunch.
Right.
Or whatever it happens to be.
Right.
Check out the crowd. Don't just
Yeah.
stroll up there like an idiot.
Yeah.
So I will actually adjust what I'm planning to do based on just eyeballing the crowd and seeing them react to stuff.
And I think I truly believe that younger, I'm not even going to say younger comedians, because I think it's younger people in general, hearing you say, I adjust to the audience, would then take that as, well, I'm I'm speaking my voice, and this is my right, and this is what I'm out to do. And it's not always about that. It's not a matter of censoring yourself. It is. We are entertainers, and we are there to provide laughter. So if you look at the audience and you go, nobody in here fucking knows Beyonce, then don't do your 20-minute Beyonce chunk, because they're not gonna get it.
This is not a free speech exercise.
Yes.
This is a comedy show. If you want to get something off your chest, go talk to your bartender or whatever. This is a show.
Yes.
So yeah, I feel very strongly that way. Yeah, don't deliberately make references that are not going to land.
Right.
Just what, are you showing off? These people paid money.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really on the audience's side.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So this has been a very enlightening conversation.
Is this like halftime?
This is like quarter time.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, it's like a soccer game.
Because I need to, freshen up.
Yeah. But no, this has been a great conversation. Had a lot of fun here. Where can we find you in the coming weeks, months?
Like early fall, late August, early September.
October 12th.
I was sort of saving this, but I'm headlining in Bernia, Ohio, in a couple weeks.
Oh.
Yep. Yeah, it's inbred night. It'd be pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Isn't every night?
I was about to say, what is
Careful.
Yeah.
That would be telling. No, it's a lovely place. I'm kind of, I have a bunch of stuff. Oh, I'm doing Sam Hill and with my friend Ginny Sykes from LA, who I worked with in New York at MTV. She's doing stand-up now too. She's my
nice.
so cuckoo. So we're doing that, and then December 15th, I'm going to go to the Laugh Factory in Chicago.
Cool.
And my first job in LA was at Laugh Factory. It's the
That's
same
fantastic.
owner. It's cuckoo.
That's great.
If I make it that far.
Yes.
Where on the interwebs can people see the lovely graphics that Lisa designs for you?
Facebook, Ned Rice.
Facebook, Ned Rice.
You can't follow me on Instagram because I don't know what that is. But Instagram, Facebook I do. Facebook I know.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ned Rice on Facebook. I am at Gonzaleza on all of the things, because I do all of the things. And coming up, a big show that I'm trying to promote is September 21st in Owasso at the Avenue. There's talk of it potentially being recorded. We shall see. But it'll be myself and the aforementioned lovely Ree Ledbetter. May have a surprise guest with Kara Karachi, or Kate Brindle might stop by. But it's gonna be a super fun night. I always love Owasso and the guys that are doing stuff out there. And then of course every Friday at the Nail on the East Side, and the interwebs for more details. How about you, Jason?
So you can, I have my Instagram, which is Random Banana Entertainment. You can find all my shows on there. My next upcoming show is going to be August 17th at the newly remodeled and reopened Bearded Lamb Brewing Company in Plymouth, Michigan. You've got Sheila Lovely opening up for the very funny Tom Massey. Then I've got a show October 12th at Bearded Lamb. Dan Britton's headlining. I got some other goofball who's going to be on there. But you can also look for all my other upcoming fall shows at Rusted Crow Distillery in Dearborn Heights, Rusted Crow in Belleville, that's Rusted Crow on the Lake, Dearborn Brewing in Dearborn, Downey Brewing in Dearborn, also Grafton Tavern in Carleton, Michigan. Potentially another venue on the way. We're waiting to see what happens. So yeah. Be sure to check all of it out, and please make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and have a good time. We will see you next time.
You know banana's a berry, right?
Really?